my gosh. What was that? I don't know. I thought it would be so much better. Let me try again. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Try it twice. It wasn't happening. I mean, from this alone, you can guess the topic. Yes. Oh, hello. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Ree. Hi, how you doing? I'm so happy to have you here. So on this channel, we talk about travel, life, and beauty. So if you're interested in those things, just consider subscribing. Going on there, clicking the red button, joining the family. We'd love to have you here. Come on down. Okay, so today we are talking about my college experience. This is actually a suggested video from my audience, from one of you guys. So I wanted to do this video just to kind of, open up a little bit and also maybe share some things about my college experience so that it can add maybe some value to someone out there who's going to college for the first time, or thinking of going off to school, or maybe you're just thinking of maybe you're just like, hey, why not watch this lady's video? Why not click this button? Why not come over here? I'm just gonna thank you for being here. So just to clear it up, today we're going to talk about my college experience as an international student. If you are a domestic student or you're thinking of going to college in your domestic country, your home country, there are some things that can still be applicable to you. So don't click away just because I'm an international student. I think we can gain knowledge from different perspectives. So that's what I'm hoping to do in this video today. And yeah, so we're going to talk about my experience as a college student, how I was able to graduate debt-free, because I actually did, so that's a thing. I'll tell you guys basically the steps behind how I did that. And then lastly, I'll just give some tips, tricks, advice for anyone thinking of going off to school and stuff like that. So we have a lot to talk about. Get comfy, let's get into it. So we're gonna start off with the fact that I did leave my country, my home country, the Bahamas, and went to college when I was 16 years old. Press pause there because I know a lot of people have like a 16, like sis don't even know herself, this and that, but yeah, I did it. So went to college, 16 years old, graduated 4 years. So I was in college, my first college, which was King's University College at the University of Western Ontario. That's located in London, Ontario, Canada. So like about 2 hours from Toronto and 2 hours from Detroit. So it really was just perfect because I had family in Detroit. And then I was in Canada, so it was just like I could go to Toronto if I want. I can go to the States and see my family if I want. It was really like a perfect middle for me. But I did spend those first 4 years of my tertiary education at King's University College. I absolutely loved it. And this is my little tassel 2016. Got your little purple and white. Come on, Stang life. Yes. Mustangs is Western's mascot. So yeah. So just a little bit about that experience, just real quick to sum it up. It was amazing. It was honestly such a great 4 years of my life. I met so many friends and journeys and stuff like that. So I ultimately thought that it was the right college for me at the time. And even though I went to school pretty young, I still was able to kind of like learn, become myself in a way where it didn't feel forced and it didn't feel unauthentic, and in a way where it also felt a little safe. Because I know when people, like when you're going off to school young, like I was 16 and stuff like that, you're always worried about, is this the safest route? Am I moving to other people's countries to die? Like there's a little bit of a worry when it comes to leaving home so young and going off to school. But I would say like King's was a really, really a good choice in terms of like the close-knit community that was formed on that campus, King's campus, and then the access to Western's campus, which was a bigger school. So King's was kind of like an affiliate of Western, but when you graduate you would get a Western degree, but it also kind of has a nice pretty gold sticker that said you went to King's. So switching over to, so you guys get both experiences. And then after I graduated in 2016 from Western University, I moved to Ann Arbor, Michigan to do my Master of Accounting program at the Ross School of Business at the University of Michigan. So yeah, everything I went to has such a long name. But yes, I left. Press pause, let's go back. 1 sec. Press boop. Boop. I graduated from King's with a Bachelor's of Management and Organizational Studies, honors double major in accounting and Spanish language and linguistics. 4 years. Knock that out. Then I moved to Michigan, Ann Arbor, to participate, to be a part of the Master of Accounting program there, where I was able to gain my master's in accounting. So that's a little bit about me. Just to get off the bat, initially people ask, why did I do a grad school directly after undergrad? To be honest, I didn't really feel like I just feel like it was the most logical next step, especially for me, like in my 4th year of my bachelor's, having to decide whether I wanted to be, because when I was an accounting major, those discussions were had on if you wanted to be a US CPA or a Canadian CPA, and because I chose the route of the US CPA, then I kind of needed to make sure I had the requirements and stuff like that of a US CPA examination participant, because the CPA process is tedious and decisions have to be made because money is being spent. So once I decided that I was going to be a US CPA, then I knew I needed to kind of like do my research and transition and kind of possibly make a change, just make like little tweaks just to make sure that I'm qualified for the US CPA. So the program was actually pretty much, it was such a perfect program. It was only 1 year, so I did graduate. I moved to Ann Arbor in 2016, and I was able to graduate in 2017. The program was honestly less than a year, which is crazy, but it was so influential and so powerful at the same time. Once again, meeting lifelong friends who I love dearly, and just getting an opportunity to once again learn more about myself. It was a different living environment, stuff like that. So I know like one of the questions is like if I preferred going to school in Canada versus the States, and in my opinion there are a lot of different factors to consider. So what works for me wouldn't work. What has worked for me might not work best for you, because everybody has different opinions and different needs and stuff like that. But ultimately I think the way I did it worked really well for me, just considering all the things. So I did list some of the things I think you should consider, whether you're considering going to school in the United States or Canada. I want this video to be helpful for any international student who's thinking about possibly going abroad to do their studies, just so you have a better feel of like school in the States versus school in Canada. One of the things that is a major difference in my opinion is the cost and the tuition. So for me, I found that the tuition in Canada was a little lower, which makes it a little more affordable for you to do your bachelor's full-time and stuff like that. So I would say like, especially the tuition in certain states were significantly higher than it was for Canada. So that was a major factor for me, the fact that the tuition was lower, and I feel like it was a little more kind of like you can kind of afford it. Also, I think it's important to consider the city you're moving to. Like I was very fortunate because London, Ontario and Ann Arbor, Michigan, they are both in what I define as student cities, where London a little more than Ann Arbor. Well, I feel like they both are, but they're basically both student cities. It was easy for me to get a bus. It was easy for me to find apartments nearby. It kind of was like the school was so well built in the city that it felt like a student city. And I define student cities as like when all the students go home, let's say in the summer, is there really like, has most of the population left that city? If a lot of the population has left that city in the summer, then that can be defined as a student city. So Ann Arbor and London were major student cities in that majority of the people that came in from September to June were students. So that was pretty cool. That's something I think you should consider as well, the location of the school you're thinking of going to, along with the climate, because well, actually Ann Arbor, Michigan, the climate was actually pretty similar, but if you are considering going to school, definitely consider the fact that like some places have winter, some places only have summer. These places that only have summer are a little bit more expensive, but I mean, it's good to just identify the fact that like, okay, just get yourself used to the climate. I mean, I wanted to experience snow, so I was pretty comfortable with that, but so I think we talked about tuition and Canada being the lower one. United States and Canada, obviously some areas in Canada and the United States are warmer than other areas, so just be mindful of that. The other thing I want to talk to you about is also the immigration laws as well as the work laws. We are in a time that is unprecedented, and some people out there wilding, like some politicians are wilding. We've already seen it. We're not going to drop names, but we've already seen certain politicians be like, oh, well, if you school online, like this and that, and like kind of like, you know, kind of doing the most with the immigration laws and stuff like that, because it is hard when you're an international student, because you have to talk about visas and you have to make sure like that process is straight, and you have to be legally entering these people's country. Can we not be illegal people? Can we just enter with some legality? Like, I think it's a powerful thing when you can like enter a new country and be like, I'm actually legal, here's my papers. That's powerful. So those, you have to consider your immigration as well. The processes were different in terms of immigration for Canada versus the States. The States is more stringent. I'm sure we know that. Like, United States don't play with that old immigration law. So it was important to have all your ducks in a row and stuff like that. Same for Canada as well. Like, it's important to have your ducks in a row and make sure like your study permits and everything is up to date and stuff like that. But two different processes, and you have to consider both of them. So another thing you have to consider when you're trying to debate where to go to school, definitely consider the immigration and the work laws, because different countries of course have different work laws, and that plays a factor in actually the ability to work and stuff like that on campus or off campus. Played a huge factor in me being able to graduate debt free. Just a little spoiler right there. So definitely look into your work laws if you plan on working during school, which I highly recommend, no matter who you are. But yeah, so just consider those. So we talked about tuition, we talked about the climate, we talked about the city factors to consider, we talked about the immigration and the work laws that I think you need to like just be mindful of when you're moving. These are things you just gotta be aware of. Okay, so in terms of Canada versus US, ultimately, I think it was a great experience that I got to experience both fields of it, that I got to experience both aspects of it, like going to school in Canada versus going to school in the States. It was a little bit, for me, it was easier going to school in the States because it was more so a student city and it was easier for me to get around and stuff like that. Like, I just felt like, maybe because I was there for 4 years, it felt easier than my experience going to school in the States. Plus, bear in mind, I went to school in the States for a graduate program, which is completely different from undergrad. So I know usually undergrads, they have maybe more things set into place to make sure that the undergrad student is like fully accepted, like fully happy to go to school, this and that. Whereas I was a graduate student, so maybe I didn't feel as welcomed. But King's has an amazing international student department, by the way. It was heavily involved. We had so much fun. We used to go to Niagara Falls, Toronto. We watched the Phantom of the Opera. It was just amazing. When I tell you, like, that was my international student experience at King's, when I tell you it was a space where you felt always welcome and you're just always happy to be in that environment, that was an international student experience at King's. And don't get me wrong, I still met some bomb Canadians. Some of my closest friends are Canadians that are dead in my heart. So you still got a chance to meet like locals, so people who are actually connected, like from Canada, grew up in Canada, grew up near the city. But it was good just to be a part of that international student community, and it was so friggin' cool. You got people from Brazil, France, the Bahamas, like where else people was from? India. Oh my gosh, it was just Singapore, Korea. Oh my gosh. Y'all, this is how you see my heart. I'm like floated, because it was like when we had like Lunar New Year parties and Christmas parties, it was just fun. It was just so many people, so many different cultures and stuff in one room. It was just such a beautiful experience. I have three important factors that really helped me to be able to graduate debt free. Let's hit them all up. Are you still with me? Comment down below if you're still with me. If you're here, just send me a, all right girl, keep going, just let me know. But so I was able to graduate debt free from both my bachelor's program as well as my master's program. The largest factor that played a role in this for me was definitely scholarships. I got a lot of scholarships. Like I used to be getting, like I got scholarships from my actual university that I attended. Also got scholarships from the government of the Bahamas. So that's another thing, if you're an international student, or if you're even American or Canadian, look into the actual scholarships and grants that the government offers, because they are so clutch. So I was able to get a scholarship from the Bahamas, like from the government of the Bahamas. I also was able to get a scholarship from my future employer. Who knew? So yeah, so let's count that. So that's like a college scholarship, so it's a college scholarship, it's a government scholarship, and also a work scholarship. So when you combine those 3 scholarships, I was able to graduate every year. I was able to proceed with my studies all the way up to graduation and never be at a point where my tuition was like in the like seesaw phases or wasn't paid and stuff like that. So I understand I'm truly blessed and truly fortunate, especially because there are a lot of people here who are still trying to pay off their student debts, and I've seen it for myself firsthand, where people are just paying off their student debts in full in their 40s and potentially 50s. So I understand that like that is not the experience for a lot of people. So I just wanted to encourage somebody to definitely, if you want to kind of mitigate some of those costs before you consider going to school or going out to school, definitely do your research. Even Scholarly.com, I applied for a few scholarships on there. Do your research and see if you can maybe get a scholarship from a future employer, from your school, or even from your government. There's no shame in this game, because at the end of the day, it's paid for. So yeah, scholarships helped. Second thing that really helped me to be able to graduate debt-free was my ability to work part-time while I was in school. So I was able to work part-time in school. I mainly worked on campus, which really helped me because I was able to just wake up every day, go to class, and sometimes go to work. So it worked perfectly for me. So I would highly encourage you maybe getting an on-campus job. If that doesn't work and it works better for you, maybe to get an off-campus job. I wouldn't advise getting an internship because they don't have any money in that, but it still would be good to have on the resume. But if you have the ability and capacity to work while you do your studies, even if it's for 10 to 20 hours a week, that makes a difference in your rent. That makes a difference in the parties you can go to. Truth be told, like if I wasn't working while I was studying, I probably wouldn't have had the experience I had, where I at least had money for groceries, I at least had rent money, stuff like that. So definitely encouraging you. If you can, I definitely encourage you to actually get a part-time job. That helped me a lot. The last thing I want to just recommend for anybody trying to graduate debt-free is to please live within your means. So a lot of times we go to college and people are coming in different phases of their life. You got the rich folks, you got the medium middle folks, you got the folks who are fully on scholarship, or they just kind of maybe got a full ride because they're smart. Like you have different levels, different devils. But really you have different levels of people and different levels of financial needs and stuff like that. So don't try to be that person who live in an apartment that they cannot afford every month, or who is the type of person who's going out every weekend to go party or to go to the bars, but at the end of the day you broke. So I think what's really important is to have some sort of budget and live within your means. Do not try to play fancy. College is that safe space where we all can admit, I don't have it. That has been powerful. But at the same time, live within your means, and you can still live within your means and have fun. Like I didn't have the nicest apartment, but I still had a great time in college. It's all about living within your means. Like yes, I would like to live in a nicer place, but I just gotta do what I gotta do. When I was in grad school, I caught the bus every morning, and I used to have 8 a.m. classes, and I used to catch a 30-minute bus just to go to class. But I couldn't really necessarily afford, or I didn't have any knowledge about the apartment areas and the campus living, like close to the campus. So I had to live all the way in the North Campus and then catch a bus down. So that was an experience for me, but at the same time, it was a rent that I can afford. So it's all about living within your means. I think scholarships, working while you're studying, and living within your means, those three tips can really help you to be able to graduate and fling that degree around, because why? It has been paid for in full. It's a powerful thing. So my last bit of advice, I just want to say, if you're an international student and you're ever feeling homesick, it's always good to carry a piece of home with you. It can be a flag, it can be a t-shirt, it can be anything, but just carrying that little bit of home with you can be so helpful. I hope if you are considering going to college, or maybe if you just are interested in hearing about my college experience, it was amazing. I wouldn't take it back. I did it right. When you can look back at your college years and be like, I will not change a thing, I loved it, that's when you did it right. And that's the main thing about college, kind of going out there and not having any regrets and stuff like that. College was a blast. Like road trips, study jokes, all the things, like Student Life Center, Starbucks runs, coffee runs, Subway runs. Oh, we used to go and get like pho. Like, college was really, really good, man. A few tips to remember is always remember your why. Remember why you're going off to school. Remember who you're doing it for. I hope you're doing it for yourself, but if you're doing it for your parents as well, or your siblings, factor that into it. Find your forever friends. I have some of the dopest friends ever, and I met them all off to school. And even though I'm in the Bahamas and they're in the States and they're in Canada, I would swim. Just let them call me. Let them beep my phone. I'm swimming. I'm there. Miles. Last tip, have fun. College, yes, it's good to study. I graduated with honors, and I still had the time. Yes, it was hard. I'm not gonna lie and be like it wasn't hard, but it was worth it. And even though I was far away from home, I had some of the dopest people around me to just kind of take that pain away and stuff like that. Another thing as well that I want to talk to you guys about is that I did participate in a good chunk of extracurriculars. I was in student council in undergrad, also a part of like the business club, also Caribbean Student Organization. I was a huge part of that. I actually was the VP Finance and the secretary. CSO was so good. Like when I tell you, endless walk. Come on now, because that's CSO is dangerous, because you don't even just have the Bahamians. You got the Jamaicans, you got the Bermudians, you got the Bajans, you got the St. Lucians, you got Trinis, you got everybody acting mad. Them parties was good, and oh my gosh, don't even get me started. If you are young and you think you're going to school, you define yourself. Just because you're young doesn't mean you are dumb. Sweetie pie, we got knowledge. If I go to school at 16 and pass all my classes, do everything I need to do, work, do everything I need to do, you can do it too. Don't let nobody tell you you're too young. Don't let nobody tell you you're too old. It's honestly, it's all about what you make it. And I never felt like, immature or anything like that. It wasn't a matter of like, oh, immature. I never made I didn't join a cult. I didn't do anything where my parents would be like, okay, she losing her mind. I hope this video encourages you to, maybe if you're thinking of going back off to school, just consider certain things, or just encourage you, if you're close to paying off that debt, keep paying it off. But that is me. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and I'll see y'all in the next one. I found some gems that I just want to, sorry. Oh, we in a virus. We in a pandemic. I can't cough. Jesus, stop. Cut it back off. That